All right. Good morning, Harrison. How are you?
Good morning. Doing good. How are you?
We are doing well. Thank you for joining us. We're excited to take a few questions here, but just wanted to give you an opening question here just to talk about Daytona a little bit and what the weekend was like and what it was like to return to the racetrack with your team.
It was awesome. I've been waiting to get back to the racetrack for a while with my new team members and the old team members that are still on my team from last year. We've got a great group of guys. So it's been really great so far. Obviously, we're just one race in, but it was a good result. We had a chance to win, and that's all you can ask for at a place like Daytona is give yourself a shot. And came up short and gave myself some film to watch to try and get better for next time. So overall, it was a good day. Tough day to lose because you lead a lot of laps at Daytona and you start getting excited, but it just didn't work out for us. So got some things I can try to do to be better, and we'll move on from there.
All right, and I saw a photo. I think floating around Twitter yesterday of your dad's final win, and you were in the background, and just wanted to ask you, what does it feel like to know that you had the opportunity to attend races so often as a kid, but now, I mean, you're obviously, driving the race car and creating your own brand in the process.
Oh, it's crazy. I always thought that my dad was, I think I responded to that tweet. I always thought my dad was a superhero, right? Like my dad was a race car driver, and that was the coolest thing in the world for me to look at my dad and be proud of him and be proud of how hard he works to be there. And now to see him kind of do his career and see the tail end of his career where I was old enough to remember most of it and remember how hard he had to work and things like that. It's pretty surreal to go back with a chance to win races and race at these places that my dad went to. It's pretty rare that you get to slow down and reflect on it, right? Because you're always so busy racing and going like crazy. But it's pretty awesome. I'm really proud of my dad and really trying to follow in his footsteps and be at least half the man he was.
All right, we're now gonna go to the media for questions. And to start us off, we're going to go with Jacob Sealman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Harrison, for taking the time. You're not necessarily one of the guys that we talk about as a road racer. What have you done since that's not as much in your background to prepare and kind of bolster your skill set in that category? Because there is a lot more of it, particularly on the Xfinity schedule.
Yeah, there's a ton of road races, so it's super important. For playoff points, for race wins, for whatever your goals are, road courses are going to be, you're going to have to find a way to win there, right? You have to find a way to run well, win, whatever it may be. So it's really important. Recently, I've been working really hard on road races. Recently, I went to COTA on a Trans Am car, trying to get better. TA2 car, race there with some Toyota teammates. That was a good time. We didn't race, but we tried to race in practice, right? But that was good. And then more recently, me and my dad both got go-karts, and so we're both ripping around go-karts on road courses all the time and trying to get better. And he's trying to stay in shape and have fun, and I'm trying to be fast. And so it's a good combination of father-son rivalry, and we have a good time with that. So a lot of it's been in-person seat time, and then a lot of it's been watching film and trying to get better that way as well.
What's been your biggest challenge as far as trying to get better at road racing?
I think the biggest challenge, the guys that separate themselves are amazing in the braking zones. You watch in the Clash, it was, Chase Elliott is the road racing guy now, right? He's the favorite to win at all the road races. And you could see him in the braking zones just slamming the car in there, using all the brakes but not locking up, aggressive, things like that. That's the biggest challenge, is getting yourself past that next level where, if you look at the data, I'm just as fast as anyone from center to exit, right? But those guys that have that braking technique and they've dialed that down over years and years, they're very good and they're very hard to beat, and they're always getting better like you are. So you show up to the racetrack and you think, oh, I'm better now. I'm going to come here and whoop everyone's tail. And everyone else got better too. So you got to be almost doubling their rate of growth. And it's a big challenge, but it's fun.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Lee Spencer. Go ahead, Lee.
Thank you. And thanks for joining us, Harrison. And thanks for the little note at the beginning of the season. That was a nice touch. Kind of curious, you've had a meteoric rise in NASCAR, and this year going to be your second full year at JGR. After seeing Truex and Hamlin and Christopher Bell sign extensions with Gibbs, you kind of wonder, where do you fit into the mix?
Obviously, you think about things like that, right? Because your dream is to be in the Cup Series. But if I'm ever going to be there, I have to focus on where I'm at now. Last year I had a good year, won races, kind of got my name into those conversations somewhat, but didn't do enough to make it an undeniable thing, right? And so that's what you have to do nowadays to get a Cup ride, is you have to be amazing in the Xfinity Series. You see Chase Briscoe, Christopher Bell, Austin Cindric, guys that win a ton of races, and they find a way to make themselves undeniable for the Cup Series. And so that's kind of the next step for me. And plus, I love the Xfinity Series. It's so much fun. Winning races there is an amazing feeling, and I hope to be doing more of that. But that's the next deal for me, is trying to make myself on that level and try and have a season like that.
So short of winning, what do you do? I mean, it was, like I said, it was a nice gesture, you sending letters out to the media. What else can you do to distinguish yourself as a guy who's ready to take that next huge step?
I think show that you're willing to put in the work. When you get to the Cup Series, no matter how good you are in Xfinity or trucks or wherever you come from, it's a big step, right? Those guys are all amazing. They're all guys that are there for a reason. They're the best of the best, right? And so to go there and contend for wins and win races is one of the hardest things on this planet to do. So just show that you're willing to work, show that you're willing to take criticism and try and get better from it. And that's my biggest thing. And there's obviously the side effect of work is getting better, right? So obviously you want to show that you're working and getting better to try and impress people or whatever, but you're also doing it because you need to win races, right? And you want to win races. So I think if I just focus on where I'm at now, I know it's a cliche answer, but if I focus on where I am now and I try and be the best I can be here and kind of enjoy where I'm at, I think that puts myself in a better spot to maybe make that jump one day.
Appreciate your time. Good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Nate Ryan. Go ahead, Nate.
Thanks, Amanda. Hey, Harrison, following up on what you were saying about the unbelievable level. Last year, it was pretty much Chase Briscoe, saying he needed to win, 8 races, and I think he ended up winning 9. Is that sort of where you think you need to be? I know that that's a big ask, but knowing that that's what it took for the champion or the near champion last year, the guy who had the most wins, is that what you think it'll take to get you to be in that Cup conversation?
Yeah, so the Xfinity Series champion puts himself in a great spot, him or herself in a great spot to be a Cup driver one day, right? So whatever it takes to win a championship for me is kind of the goal. Me and my new crew chief, Jason, when we first got to working together, we had a few meetings, and then we decided to write down our goals, right? And go research what it took to win the championship, how many laps they led, how many stages they won, whatever it may be. And so I went over all that with him or separately, and then wrote down our goals, and together we came with pretty similar goals, somewhere 6 or 7 wins, less than 3 DNFs, things like that have been averaged out over what it takes to be a champion. And now we just have to go and attack and try and complete those goals, right? There's always the outlier, like Reddick in his first championship won, I think, 1 race, right? And so guys like that can do that is another way to do it. But, on average, you have to win a lot of races and a lot of stages to be a champion.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Marty. Go ahead, Marty.
Thank you. Hey, Harrison. Hope you're doing well. I was kind of curious, with today being the 20th anniversary of Dale Earnhardt's death. I was wondering if you have any stories that your father told you about that he recalled from racing against Dale.
Yeah, definitely. Later, towards closer to when Dale passed away, my dad and my mom were thinking about getting this boat, right? My dad has always loved boats, and he was racing Cup, and he was in a spot where he felt like he could get a boat. My mom was nervous, right? And financially nervous to do it, whatever it may be, right? She was nervous to make a purchase like that, a boat, right? And they came from, little to nothing. They were in South Boston, Virginia, and kind of clawed their way through bad times. And once they got to the top, they're like, oh, we got to save our money. And so Dale Sr. came up to my mom and hugged my mom. And, it was I think she said it was within a few months of when he passed away, was telling her to go and live life and go get this boat, right? And so shortly after Dale passed away, they got this boat, and they made some memories on that thing before they sold it. So that's the only story that I've really, he tells me stories about Dale a lot, tells me stories about a lot of things a lot, just because I'm interested in it. But I think that's the most cool one, right? It's like, man, that's crazy that, obviously not, no one knew what would happen, but he was telling my parents to go and enjoy life and live life, and then, obviously the unthinkable happened, but they made a decision based off of that moment.
Awesome. Thank you, Harrison. Good luck this weekend. And thank you, Amanda.
All right. We're going to take our next question from Ashley McCubbin. Go ahead, Ashley.
Building on where we started the discussion today, how do you grade yourself as a road racer right now?
I don't know. I'll tell you better after this weekend, right? I've been working really hard to be better. I think last weekend was my best super speedway race I've ever driven. I feel like I made a lot of gains in that regard. I really hope I made a lot of gains in the road racing regard too. I've been working really hard on it. I think I'm last year I was fast. I was kind of in the contention for the best of the rest of last year, right? You had your road racing ringers, and then there was the guys that like me, and I'd put Riley Herbst was there. I'd put Noah Gregson in there, the guys that were not quite as fast as Chase and Austin, but guys that were close and pretty quick on lap time and were able to contend in the end. So I put myself in there as of last year, but hopefully this year I've made that jump to be better and contend for wins and lead laps and all that. But I'll tell you after this weekend.
And then you got your chance to run the Daytona Road Course last year. What stood out to you about getting your first attempt at it?
It's a fun racetrack. It's a place that was really, really cool to run at, just because you never thought you would, right? Like, you've always seen the Rolex race there, and you always dreamed of racing at Daytona, but you never were dreaming about racing the road course at Daytona as a little kid, or at least I wasn't, right? And so to do that was a cool experience and something I never thought I would do. But the racetrack in of itself is so fun. There's a low grip infield with a high grip, outside of the track, and leads to a lot of great passing zones, a lot of great opportunities for good racing. And we saw that in the Clash. The Clash this year, it was a crazy finish at the end, and I'd expect more of that this year.
Thank you, and best of luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, our final question today is going to come from Garrett with the Gas and Go podcast. Go ahead, Garrett.
Thanks, Amanda. Hey, Harrison. I think last year you showed that you're not afraid to stick up for yourself on the track. So when you're racing somewhere like a road course where there's going to be a lot of rubbing and bumping, how can you tell the difference between rubbing and bumping that's part of just racing and rubbing and bumping that might be intentional for other reasons?
Normally by how hard they hit you, or whether or not you end up in the grass, or whether or not you end up wrecked or spun out or whatever. Like last year, me and Ross were racing real hard, and he wheel hopped and he got loose under me and hit me off the racetrack. And I was upset and I was frustrated, but I knew it wasn't on purpose, right? I knew he didn't take me out on the last lap on purpose. just because I could tell what happened, right? And so you can kind of tell by the aggression level, the guy behind you, the part of the race that you're in, things like that, right? But at the end of the day, they have fenders on our cars for a reason, and we use them. So it's a lot of fun. I try and race people how I like to be raced, and I expect the same towards myself. And normally I don't really have too many issues with it. So it's been fun. The road races are crazy. At the last 5 laps, our road course races in the Xfinity Series are nuts. Everyone's going crazy, and it's pretty fun. It's like racing go-karts and banging off each other. It's pretty cool.
Great. Yeah. Thanks for the time. Good luck down there.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Harrison, thank you so much for the time today, and best of luck this weekend at the Daytona Road Course.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Hope you all have a good day.